Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were asking the listener.
Kind of. Aren't we one and the same?
Do you want me to speak on behalf of the listener?
Yes.
We're fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Everyth's
Shut
fine.
Up. We're dogs in a burning building wearing a nice hat. Welcome to Stayfhomekins. I'm Paul F. Tompkins.
I'm Janie Haddads Tompkins.
We're a married couple.
I'm an actress.
I'm a comedian.
And we are quarantined together because we're married.
Quarantine, baby. The only way to do it. Quarantino. We are Quentin Quarantino.
We got your favorite pandemic podcast coming right at you.
Yeah, man. Look, we're your friends.
We are your friends, and we are here to be with you during what is known as 2020 hellscape.
Man, it's not good. And July is the longest month I've ever experienced.
Just the middle of things. Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's the last day of July as we're recording this.
Oh, yeah. Wow. We started this thing in March. Okay, here we go.
It's funny, isn't it?
It's
Isn't it
funny. So we come to you from Los Angeles, where we live.
Hat in hand, heart open wide.
And it's really hot.
Arms outstretched. It is really hot.
And, really quick, just a little bit of business. Can we do a little bit of business?
Oh, okay.
So,
by the way, I'm interested in finding out what this is.
I just need your signature on here while I have all these witnesses.
Wow, double indemnity.
So many of you engage with us online, sometimes just one-sided because
we're going to need that to stop.
What, the engagement or the one-sided? No. You'll email us at stayfhomekins@gmail.com or tweet us at stayfhomekins or Instagram, comment with us. Mm-hmm. And we love it, but we've gotten some repeat questions because Paul, every podcast, he will post a photo of our recording booth, if you will. And our recording booth is just our kitchen table.
Yeah, it's a chill setup.
It's just a chill setup.
Couple candles, couple cocktails.
Oh man,
couple microphones.
I poured myself a stiff weekend water after this one, but we'll get in that in a minute. And so many people ask about our equipment. They like our equipment.
Well, here's the thing. Specifically, the mic stands, which are very fancy looking.
Paul got some fancy mic stands.
Yeah. These are. I was looking
they
for
have a wooden base.
Fancy desk mic stands, specifically for podcasting. And I was like, things can be nice too. Mm-hmm. And I found these that are really. I wish I could remember the brand name. I will find the brand name.
Oh, maybe it's on the bottom. It's heavy.
It's not.
Oh, it's not.
And also,
but did you do it through just Google fancy desk?
I Googled fancy desk.
Mic stands.
Then I realized I had to refine it. I think I Googled desktop mic stand wood.
Okay. Paul likes things
it's easy.
that are wood.
It's very hard. Desktop, mic stand, wood.
And then
they ask you again.
And they're like, oh, those are fancy.
Do you not understand what I'm doing?
Do it again.
People think it's easy. It's very hard. They say they show you pictures and then you have to name the things. Say desktop, mic stand,
I get it
wood.
now.
Then
you guys,
half hour later, what were those words again? So also
cameraman, woman, camera, or right. Whatever.
I put felt on the bottom of these to make them more recording friendly.
But then people are like, "Oh, one is blue, or one is purple, and one is green," and it's yeah, because you Amazoned a bag of foam.
Yeah.
I remember when those came in the mail. The foam. What are these called? Mic.
Wind screens.
Wind screens. Mm-hmm. And this bag of colorful wind screens came.
And I opened it up.
And I was like, oh, Paul, your clown noses arrived.
Now,
I didn't know.
You did think they were clown
noses,
which is understandable.
They look like clown noses.
Hey, can we just cut the shit here? They look like clown noses. There's no way around that.
He was going to do a revival of red noses, but it was updated to modern times, and so they were different colored noses.
What's red noses?
You know that medieval play or whatever?
No, I've never heard of this.
I don't know.
Are you thinking of In the Name of the Rose? Yeah, it's this
So
monk,
many people.
He's investigating murder, red noses.
So many people get it. Okay, and then the final component we use is a thing called a Zoom recorder, which is you really actually got this recorder not for stay-at-homekins. That you had gotten this recorder, because this is more like a mobile. If you're like a podcaster and you need more of a mobile kind of setup, this is a little recorder that you can plug mics directly into. It's battery operated, and you just need like a memory card. Yeah. But this was for some other project that you're going to do that was way more noble than the
noble. I was going to interview Nelson Mandela, and then he said no, and I was like, well, that's a plane ticket I cannot get back. I think I got it just to because I thought maybe I would start doing stuff on the road, like when I was stuck in a hotel or something. You know, I could do things either at the hotel or backstage or whatever. Right. And then I never did that.
Anyway, so that's our setup. And I hope that answers some questions. It's not very specific.
But like the mic covers and the mic cords are just you search for colored mic cords.
Yeah, these are just Shure mics. I mean, that's what most people use for podcasting.
These are Shure 58s.
Yeah, I use a Shure 58. I know a great hack too. Not these windscreens. You get yourself a big old Mac Daddy fat windscreen like they use in like on inauguration day.
Oh, you mean like the ones that are on an arm that you or you mean like the huge wide ones that go
That would not be a red nose.
No.
That'd be a head.
Yes. That would be a head.
I watched this whole YouTube video on this hack because it's like you can buy this extra expensive Shure mic, or you can rip the windscreen that the cheaper one comes off, get this Mac Daddy one. That's what I use for voiceover.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I have it in there. You know, I ripped it off and I put it on.
Yeah. You have like a gale force windscreen on that microphone.
Like I could be inaugurated. Because I'm
the only time they're used. Because of the great inauguration speeches
because of the inauguration.
We love.
Carnage in America.
That's right.
Anyway, so that's my little bit of
shining city on a hill.
No, ask not what your country.
Ask not what your country can do for you. What did Clinton say? All I remember is Maya Angelou.
Wait,
I don't remember anything from his inauguration.
Did Clinton have a thing?
He must have. They're all supposed to.
He said, "I feel your pain." That's what he said.
I don't think that was in the inaugural address, though.
It wasn't.
There's famous, like George H.W. Bush. I remember said something about 1,000 points of light, but I think that was in the State of the Union.
I thought that was more of like the 1,000 points of light was like his plan.
1,000 points of light. Yeah,
his like plan, his policy plan.
He was trying to be poetic, and everyone made fun of it.
He was the head of the CIA. Like he had to like wear like wigs and stuff. He did. Something I read recently.
I like that, though, as the go-to fact about the CIA. You know they have to wear wigs.
I can't remember what it was, or I was reading something, one of my political books that'll bore you to tears.
Imagine The Americans, but with George H.W. Bush in it.
He would not have been the head of the CIA.
He would not have been Russian.
Would he have been the head of the CIA?
If it was from, let's say if he was like going to Russia to infiltrate.
Wait, was the Americans, was it all Reagan? The whole thing was Reagan? Because it was like 1980, because he got elected in 1980.
Yeah, I think it overlapped into George.
I don't think it did.
You don't think it did? It began and ended with
Didn't
Reagan?
it kind of like end with the wall coming down or something?
Mr. Gorbachev.
Clearly have to rewatch the American.
We probably should. There's worse things to do.
Okay, so I'm really into like spy craft, like spy stuff.
Is this true?
Well, I loved The Americans.
You've hidden it from me like a spy.
I mean, I like the, stories.
Yes. It's not like if I went in your desk right now, there'd be a bunch of camera pins in there.
No. But I know I think we may have mentioned this on the previous podcast, but I want to recommend it again. But we're very much into this series that unfortunately you have to subscribe to yet another streamer. I think that's why I didn't recommend it. Because I didn't want to be like, you have to pay for another. But we're riding the rails of the streamers.
I know.
And hopping around.
Well, we're riding the rails of the streamers. I've been recommending it to friends, and it's like, what are you going to do?
It's so good.
If you never watch it, I don't blame you. I get it.
It's a spy series. You have to get Sundance now.
Yeah.
And that's like $7 for a month. But if you're binge fanatics like we are, you may only need to buy 1 month.
We're binge fanatics. And yeah, because we were convinced we were going to watch the entire series before the trial ran out. The free trial,
7-day or something. Yeah. Well, that's
and
not.
It's 5. I don't think we realized it was 5 seasons.
5 seasons.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's called The Bureau, and it's French, and it's subtitled. Sorry, but you. Also, but it's French, but like they speak like a million languages in it.
Yes,
like they're going in between French and Arabic and Farsi and English and Russian, and you're like, what? And they're like these spies, and it's all like based on the real French CIA. They call it the Bureau of Legends.
Yeah, the GDSE.
DGSE, which I don't understand why they're the Bureau of Legends and the DGSE.
The Bureau of Legends, I think, is more of a nickname.
Oh, it is?
I think that's the actual name of the... Yeah,
I
think that's not
the
like an
particular
official name.
office within... Maybe that's the
that could be,
office within the
yeah.
DGSE.
And that is the name of the show in France, because in France, the Bureau is their version of the office.
Oh, yeah, we found that out like through the subtitles. Anyway, that's just my little thing since we're talking about HW.
Here's what's great is that it makes you get off your phone for a little bit.
Yeah, because you have to read the subtitles. You can't have a double screen experience.
Although once they start speaking English, then you're like, oh, I can check my phone real quick.
I don't, because you get so into this show, you don't.
It's true.
You really don't.
But I like having to pay attention to it in that way. Although there's always a thing with shows with subtitles where at a certain point, like I don't know what makes this happen, but I'll start to just look at the actors as if I know the language. Like if it goes back to characters that I know, then I'm like, oh, I know these guys. I'll just look at their faces. Then I'm like, I don't know what they're saying.
Well, you're actually really good with languages.
I think I have a good ear.
Yeah. I mean, like you have like expressed interest in one day maybe.
I sure have expressed interest in learning a language.
Learning a language. And I was like I don't have the sort of interest in it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Not at all, really?
I don't know. No, it was like languages are hard for me when I had to. Also, don't you think it's a crime that we don't teach a second language as tiny children like they do in other countries?
I know. I wish,
because that's like when you're supposed to be able to.
I wish they had done that, and I wish that there were. I don't know. Like I don't know how they do it. I guess they start them young, and then of course it's like English is used in so many places that they have more chances to practice it, I guess. I don't know. But
I don't know.
We're terrible at it.
We're terrible.
I took 4 years of Italian in high school. Mm-hmm. I can remember pronunciations. Because any combination of letters you see, it's always pronounced the same way.
That's good.
So I could read a paragraph of text and have no idea what.
You could say it so well.
But I could say it pretty well, I think. Yeah.
I did French.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you go on a trip? Did your class go on a trip? No.
I wish. Also, they by the time I got to that school where I was taking language, like a lot of people had taken Latin, and I feel like that would have been a good basis for me. I should have done some Latin.
Really?
Yeah, because I think Latin, doesn't it kind of prepare you for French, Italian, Spanish, and English?
Sort of.
Something?
Yeah, sort of, but it's like if
Plus,
you were to take both of those, then maybe you'd be.
Plus, it doesn't. I think it might improve your vocabulary too, because
probably, yeah.
You figure out where words come from, and anyway.
Yeah. But I mean,
I blew that.
There are some roots that you know just from school that are Latin or Greek or whatever. But I think that if you were to take Latin, maybe it would make taking another Romance language easier, or I could be wrong.
I think it would.
I'm never taking Latin. I'll tell you that much.
I think it actually would. I think it would make it easier. I really do.
There's only one way to find out.
Check back in with us in 4 weeks after we
is
complete.
Latin on Duolingo?
I don't know what Duolingo is. Is it like an app or something?
Yeah, it's a language.
I'm sure it is.
Why? That would be weird. Should I look real quick?
What's the universal one? Esperanto.
Oh, Esperanto. Esperanto.
Esperanto did not catch on, right?
No, it did not because we are not speaking. It's still like it still has its fans for sure.
Esperanto?
Yeah.
Why don't you come to your senses? Come down.
Riding fences. I was going to do a little harmony.
I didn't know I was
Duolingo.
supposed to keep going.
Do I have Duolingo on my phone? I deceived myself at one point.
So this has been quite a week.
It's been a long week.
It has been quite a week. I had reflux. Is that something I should share with you?
That's up to you.
You know how you get like reflux and you're like, did you find it? Was it on there?
It asked me if I wanted to get started, and I lost interest.
Oh, like it wasn't set up.
No, it was not set up.
Okay.
I was using this podcast as my accountability.
Okay. So tell me about you. How are you doing?
Is that all you had to say about the reflux?
I started to go down the. I was just gonna say, you know, how you have the reflux, and you're like, "Oh, am I having like cardiac arrest, or are these crippling chest pains that come in waves that stop your breathing? Just reflux."
Yeah.
You know that feeling?
I feel like you've learned to identify it as reflux sooner.
You mean the one time when I called the ER and I was like, and I'm like, I don't know, like I'm just like Googling angina.
Look, I don't blame you.
But I think it's because of the hernia in there. I have the hernia in there.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, why did I have the reflux? Was it the bar hearings or the tomatoes I bought at the farmer's market?
She was eating tomatoes like apples during the bar hearings. And I said, that's
You
going
know
to come back to haunt you.
Oh, man.
You know, I had a hernia when I was a kid.
You told me that.
Yeah.
You had to have it like operated on, right?
Yeah.
But that's in a different spot. It wasn't in your esophagus.
It was in my groin.
Yeah, that's a more like, isn't that like a common area?
Yeah.
Did it hurt?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember what the pain felt like. It was a very specific pain.
How'd you get it?
I don't know.
Did it happen like instantaneously? Like, oh, this ripped out. Something happened.
No, I don't remember feeling it like that. I was in 4th grade, and I just remember always having this pain that would aggravate when I ran, or if I walked for a long time, and eventually went to and I just lived with it for a while because I was a dumb little kid.
Yeah.
And then eventually got it checked out by a doctor, and it was the only time I've ever been in the hospital overnight.
Interesting.
Yeah, very scary.
So you didn't have your tonsils out, because I had my tonsils out and I stayed in the hospital overnight.
Still got my tonsils, still got my wisdom teeth, still got my appendix.
Shit.
Yeah.
I still have my appendix. I don't have those other things, though.
They say you can't take it with you. I'm taking them all, baby.
I'm saving. If you need a kidney, I got one for you. I'm going to give you.
Me?
Yeah.
Thank you, honey. Do you think, are you compatible with anybody's kidneys?
No, I think you have to have. Well, we're the same blood type, you know, me and you.
That's right. And it's none of your business, by the way, listeners.
I don't want to tell anyone, because what if a vampire listens to us?
Now, isn't that vampires can only drink one type of blood, or they have preferences?
They might be like, oh, because we have a rare blood type. You and
Yeah.
I have a rare blood type.
I may have revealed it on a podcast before. That doesn't mean
What's
I'm going to
gonna
do it now.
happen?
I'm going to say you do the work if you want to find out.
What's going to
so bad.
happen?
They'll steal my identity.
You know, Brian.
I'm Paul F. Tompkins.
You know, Bryan Cranston. He revealed that he had and has recovered from COVID-19.
He said he had it all through Breaking Bad. He's patient 0.
From 2007?
Yeah. He finally got over it. But he had a terrible fever the whole time making that show.
Oh, my God. was going to say he donated his plasma.
That's right.
His COVID-soaked plasma.
To his 2 cats. Who does that? These eccentric millionaires. Do you remember
I just thought it
Leona
was nice.
Helmsley? What were you going to say?
I was just saying it was nice that he did that.
Yes. Absolutely. I was going to say, do you remember Leona Helmsley?
Who's Leona Helmsley?
She was the queen of mean, honey.
I know, but give me more.
She was this rich old lady in New York who was just a fucking jerk.
But how is she rich?
That I don't know. I would imagine either from family money
If you have family
or something else.
If you have family money, you don't have any right to be mean about it because someone gave it to you.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If like basically you were just born under like this cloud of luck,
Yes.
then get a personality.
Yeah.
Like work on it. Don't be so whatever.
Don't be so basic. Can I say something to people born into money? Stop being so basic. But she was a very mean person, and I guess she like treated her servants terribly, and
Oh, really?
yeah. And when she died, she left all her money to her cats.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was so stupid. How could you be that? How could you be that?
We don't know those cats.
How could you be that out of touch? Who prepared the cats' wills?
I wonder if they're still alive.
I mean,
How do you become friends with those cats? Get in their good graces.
right? I mean,
I
like,
wish I knew-
how do
I
you
wish I
leave
could
money to cats?
It's like,
Oh, it has to be like in a like a trust or a foundation or something, right?
I guess and
someone
then
someone has to run
the cats have to be cared
and you know
for
what?
in a
Some
certain way.
idiot had to run it.
Yeah.
Had to be like, here's your check this month.
Going after a cat.
Garfield's asking for more.
Should I just leave it here?
I mean,
You're
that
not going to take it?
this catnip doesn't pay for itself. You got to like, I don't know.
It would be funny if the cats somehow indicated that they wanted more expensive stuff. Like if they like as the food got more expensive, they would stop eating it after a while to indicate that they wanted better food.
They want Fancy Feast, and they want it now.
But I'm saying, then they turn their nose up at Fancy Feast.
Like the Fancy Feast comes out in the
goblet, the crystal goblet.
and they knock it
Yes.
over with their paw, and they're like, "Meow."
There was a commercial that ran for a long time for Fancy Feast cat food, and it showed cats eating this disgusting wet cat food. Like you could smell it through the TV. That was in this crystal goblet.
Yeah.
It was the grossest thing.
What? Wait, have you seen the new? It's not Fancy Feast. There's a new
Regular Feast?
It's Meow Mix.
Dowdy Feast?
I think it's Meow Mix.
Uh-huh.
There's like an awesome.
This sounds cuckoo. Do you think cats eat cuckoos?
Yeah, of course.
By the way,
They think it's a cat toy.
earlier, Cuckoo was just hanging out.
Yeah, Cuckoo's lost her mind.
She was just like out.
I've seen her
like
do that.
eavesdropping on
I've
us.
seen her do it. I've seen her do it.
All right, Cuckoo, we get it. Oh my God!
Shut the.
What is it? 100 o'clock?
We did start late tonight. So I think it's a Meow Mix commercial.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. The new Meow Mix commercial.
What happens?
There's like it's like a kind of like a rave center, and they are like there's like this like bunch of different colored backgrounds, and it's like the Meow Cat Mix cats are like flashing like it's sort of I can't describe it. It's so good.
You really can't.
It's like so good. I'm gonna find it.
Do you remember those commercials
gonna
with
find.
they were like big gerbils or hamsters or something, and they were in like hip hop tracksuits and stuff.
Mm-hmm,
It was for Kia, maybe.
Yeah, they were like they were driving Kias.
I hated those.
You
commercials.
hated them.
I did not like those creatures.
Well,
was
because they were
bad.
life-sized rodents.
But their bodies were moving like human bodies
Yeah.
with these fat rodent heads.
Yeah.
It
No.
really was unsettling.
You're
to me.
right. It's wrong.
Yeah. This is what I was going to say to Mandela in my interview.
Really?
Yeah. I was going to say we need to do something about this, and I think you're the guy. All right. We have to take a break.
Oh, yes. We
For
have
this
a...
word about our friends.
Ask Rana.
Featuring Brian.
Here's a question. What do you do when your boyfriend's mother is poisoning you? Or when your Airbnb host dies? How do you tell your cousin her husband is on Tinder during the pandemic? Or make a perfect cup of coffee? Ask Rana and Brian. Every Tuesday, Rana Glickman and Brian Safi of Throwing Shade podcast fame bring you a fresh advice podcast straight from the Carriage House in Marblehead, Massachusetts. Okay, that's not a good accent, but I tried. With all the answers to life's big problems, big and small, ask Rana with Rana and Brian. Rana and Brian and a special guest take your questions and give thoughtful, hilarious, and heartfelt advice. Guests include Lacey Mosley, Brandon Kyle Goodman, Ellie Kemper, Paula F. Tompkins, Carl Tart, Lauren Lapkus, Mike Shore, Trixie Mattel, and yours truly. New episodes every Tuesday wherever you find your podcasts. And yes, we do not miss an episode in this household. So check them out. I think you'll love it.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We love the Ask Rana podcast. They sent us some wonderful coffee. We talked
Yes.
about last time. You can order their carriage cottage.
We maintain that it is still good.
Yes.
We've not flip-flopped. People showed up to our doors with pairs of flip-flops. Remember they did that to John Kerry?
What? Oh, they did. You're right. They threw flip-flops at John Kerry.
What a country!
Remember when someone threw their shoe at George W. Bush and he had to duck?
Yeah. I gotta say,
And it was like
though,
an insult. It's like a huge insult.
Yes, it's a huge thing. They're very, boy, over there, feet and shoes, forget about it. But I will say,
Over there, where was it? It was like in the Middle East.
yeah,
Okay.
I gotta say props to George W. Bush. He dodged those shoes like a fucking champ.
He did.
Like he really lightning fast reflexes.
How do you feel about George W. Bush now? Because, like, I understand, like, we have this problematic relationship with him because he did some very wrong, terrible things.
He's a war criminal, yeah.
I mean, he started a war that was, like, unfounded and stuff.
Yes.
And he mishandled the Katrina stuff or whatever.
Sure did.
And then he listened to us on our phones.
That's right. I was wondering where that was going.
No, he listened in on our private
Yeah.
our private conversations
Yes.
and stuff. And then, like, cut to 2020.
Yeah.
Like, you come to find out, like, he has, like, decency. Like, he spoke at John Lewis's funeral this week, which was, you know,
Yeah.
that he has this, like, warmth and decency that it's like, if he'd only picked, like, a different, like, it makes you wonder, like, if Cheney weren't his running.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if he picked, like, a different dude, like, or
But
woman.
I know, but
Or a woman.
it's almost like a chicken or the egg situation where it's like, but if,
Oh.
would George Bush have been the nominee without a Cheney? You know what I mean?
And then, like, also.
Let me say
yeah.
this. Let me say this before we talk about it further. George W. Bush, bad guy, not a good guy, and not somebody that we should reconsider in the light of.
I don't know
Donald Trump.
I don't know about that.
No,
I don't know if I feel that way. I think that, like, people can understand that they did bad things.
I don't think that he does though.
But what's so crazy, this is why I was saying what's so crazy, cut to 2020. He apparently had sort of a fixation on pandemics. And he did a lot for the AIDS crisis, and he like wrote like a big plan. Like, if this had happened, if he were president today,
Yeah.
like, the pandemic stuff would be like handled.
I think that's probably true for sure.
Like he had a real
Yeah.
obsession with
But
it.
you could say that about Nixon. You know what I mean? Like, I think that
I can't. I don't know what his pandemic.
Fair enough.
I don't know. But I think Nixon was a bad I feel like Bush has a moral. You don't think?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that like a lot of people who are, who use religion as their moral compass, that just fixes everything for them. But the actual morality of the stuff that he did while he was in office is absolutely terrible.
Well, let me ask you this, and this is just like an ethics question in general.
This is why everyone listens to this show, by the way.
Well, then you ask.
No, you ask. I don't have a question. That's a great debate tactic, though.
I'm fine with
Well,
you
then you
asking.
ask the question.
You don't have you don't have any question.
No, you were about to.
This is not an excuse. My question. My question is it possible to be the face of a superpower and not have blood on your hands?
No.
Period. You're saying it's categorically
I will say this.
impossible.
So far, it has not been.
Like even Obama did the drone strikes.
Even
and
Jimmy Carter. I mean, like
he did. Jimmy Carter did.
Yeah, I don't. Here's the thing: is like it's all a mess, and we've gotten into so much shit we shouldn't have gotten into. I don't know how it would be possible to get out unless somebody started to get out, which no one has. But I think that even if Bernie Sanders got elected, I don't think you walk out of that office. I don't think you walk out of that office without blood on your hands. I don't think it's possible.
Well, I definitely think Bernie Sanders would not be good foreign leader. I don't find him authoritative in that arena. He's very aggressive about our domestic stuff.
I think he would have been okay.
He would have had people around him.
Yeah, I think he would have been fine. He's a smart guy.
I don't want to talk about Bernie Sanders.
Okay.
We can talk about anything else.
From George W. Bush on.
Yes. We can talk about anyone else. All right, go ahead. You ask something.
You can't do that.
I don't want to be dominating the
ask something.
the hypothetical question space.
How about the big addition to our home, which is we got a table to put in our little postage stamp backyard.
Yeah, we got a table, and then it became 100 degrees, and we couldn't invite anyone to go sit out back
I
there.
know, I'm very excited
Because it's like the face of the fucking sun out there.
But when the sun goes down and it cools off,
Yes.
it'll be nice to sit out there. We got some little tiki torches to help keep away the mosquitoes.
Citronella, because there's mosquitoes now in LA.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be nice.
Who do you want to invite first?
I'm not going to say that on the air. Obviously, Bay and Jay. I'll just shoot them a note
text.
on Instagram.
A text. Oh, I
Well, I don't know them personally. I'll just reply to one or both of their photos on Instagram and say,
Okay.
hey, if you're up for a socially distanced backyard hang, we just got a table.
Mosquito-ridden tiny yard on the face of the sun with no shade. Yeah. Okay.
But I feel like summertime, it's a nighttime thing. Is to sit outside in candlelight.
Well, now if it was like the fall or winter and it got cold at night, we could get one of those fire things like Matt and Amanda have, where it's
Oh,
like
what
this
is it
like
called?
it's a
called
solo
like a
stove.
Solo stove. Yes, that's
and
right.
you just
That's right.
it just sits there. It's like a tin can, and then you throw a bunch of wood in it, and then it like creates this like insane fire.
Yeah.
Like the mouth of hell fire.
Yeah.
Because they lit it at their house, and it was like we had to back away from it.
We were trying to cook over it. We were trying to like roast sausages.
Yeah. But then we were like sitting, we all had to be like, I think it's too hot and we have to back up from it.
Yeah.
It created like a furnace.
Yeah.
It was like so crazy.
Hey, I mean, you got your money's worth with that thing.
And then remember, and like Amanda was like, I'm going to put some logs in the fire. And I was like, oh no, you're so close. And she's like, it's okay. I'm not scared of fire.
I don't remember that.
She said that.
I don't remember that.
She said, it's okay. I'm not scared of fire. And I was like, I bet that's true.
I think it's beautiful and I love it. I love to stare at it.
I'm not one of those people.
Are you scared of fire?
Are you scared of fire?
I mean, do you mean beyond the normal, like, fire is hot, I don't want to get burned? Like, do you think about it a lot?
A little bit. I probably think about it a lot because I'm like, oh, if we have a fire, like because LA, we have these fire warnings and stuff, and it's like I don't want to contribute to like making a forest fire happen.
You got to tell the famous story of the family reunion, the fire alarm.
I forgot.
Because I bet this is where it comes from.
You want me to tell that story?
I think you have to tell it.
Okay. Well, it's actually funny you bring this up because we are, I actually had a Zoom today with my cousins, with my dad and my cousins and stuff. And my brother was on for like a minute. And, what was crazy.
Shade thrown.
Well, I won't get into that, but let's just say
my brother stopped by.
It was all his idea. We were going to use his Zoom link. And then I woke up to like 10 text messages this morning. Like, I can't. And then like, you need to find another Zoom. And I'm like, oh. So anyway. And also like, he was like, we should plan another family reunion. And so anyway, we had this Zoom today and like some seeds have been planted about planning another Haddad family reunion.
Which you used to do every year, right?
No, it was not every year. It was like very sporadic.
Oh, I thought
there's
it
like
was
200 people.
I know, but I remembered it as being the problem was you were doing it too much.
No, that wasn't really the problem, I don't think. There was some drama that I don't really know much about. There was like, I don't know what it was.
Here's what I'll say, though, to support my theory.
Okay.
Is that you and your family have been doing Zooms every week during quarantine.
Sure.
Which is too often.
Really?
Because nothing happens. I'll stop and say hi. And I hear your dad's constant question is, so what else is going on? It's like nothing. Nothing is going on.
What do you mean? We have these podcasts every week. We just come up with bullshit to say in this arena.
Don't pull the curtain back too far. Tell the story.
Okay, so anyway, at one of our Haddad family reunions, which was in West Virginia because that's where most of the Haddad family is like from, and that's where I was born. The big Haddad family, and a lot of them still live in that area. And a bunch of us were staying in an Embassy Suites for the weekend in Charleston, West Virginia. I had my own room, and it was a suite, you guys. And the reason like Embassy Suites is so sweet is because there's like a totally free buffet breakfast that comes with your room. So I get up the next morning from the night before, and I'm like loading up my scrambled eggs and my too much honeydew in the fruit salad mix and my coffee and like all of my relatives are like looking rough. Okay. They're like tired and like creeping around and I'm like, geez, like, what's up? Did y'all like party or what? Something like, did I miss? You know, and like,
y'all, the girl's gonna get some trouble with the Embassy Suites tonight.
You also get a free drink at the Embassy Suites.
A free drink.
You get like a free cocktail. You get a free weekend water at the check. Okay, so I was like, what happened? And and I find out from like my brother or my cousin or someone. They're like, that was like awful last night when the fire alarm went off. It was such a nuisance. And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh my God, in the middle of the night, the fire alarm went off and it was so loud and they evacuated the building. Turned out it was a false alarm, but we had to like wait for everyone to get there.
Was it just a drill?
No,
they wouldn't do a drill in the middle.
No,
of the
it was
night.
like drunk kids had
literally
pulled the
fucking kids.
These drunk kids had pulled like they were like college kids there for a football game or something. Yeah. And
great
I was
prank,
like,
by the way.
Great what?
Great prank.
Yeah, right. Make everyone evacuate the Embassy Suites at 3 a.m. And I was like, you mean to tell me that a life-threatening situation occurred and not one of my flesh and blood bothered to knock on my door to get me out? And by the way, my cousins were staying like immediately to like my neighbor, like my
I'm sure
room
you were
neighbor.
Surrounded by
Haddads.
Yeah.
Surrounded by Haddads.
That's the title.
And my brother was like, I mean, just like, I was like, really? Like, you didn't want to bother, like, to make sure I was not going to burn to death in the building? And he's like, you know, I mean, like, we knew it was a prank. I just didn't want to bother you or whatever. And I was like, so pissed. And let's just say that this happened maybe 20-ish years, close, coming up on 15 years ago, let's say.
We do have something special planned for the 20th.
Still to this day, I can't let it go because I have to say.
It's come up many times.
It's messed up. It's like so
I don't disagree.
It's like a messed up.
I don't disagree.
It's like messed up.
I also feel like, on the one hand, if you know it's a prank and you let the person sleep, that seems nice. However, my feeling would be, absolutely, I'm going to wake up somebody. Even if I know it's a prank, I'm definitely going to wake somebody up and make them have the same miserable experience that I'm having.
I don't know what, and also like, what is up with Embassy Suites alarm system that it didn't wake me out of my bed?
Now, honey, we come to the crux of the issue. Because
it's really like capitalism. It's capitalism.
What?
Because they're cutting corners. It's all about the bottom line.
Else up but you. But definitely the blame is Embassy Suites cutting corners on their alarms. Now, we had an earthquake here in Los Angeles this week.
Oh, my God.
And what was it, 4:30 a.m.?
The first one.
The first one.
There were like a series, I would say the ones I felt were like a series of 3.
Yeah. The first one was the biggest.
4:30.
And
it jolted us awake.
Here's what I think.
I don't think so, but go ahead.
I think it jolted you awake, and then you jolted me awake.
I don't think so, because when I clutched your body.
Yeah. When you dug your nails into my back. Not in that way.
When I clutched,
it was like a claw.
It was like, okay, fine. But I swear you were like in the process. You were like basically like, I'm awake or whatever.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
All I know is that number one, it jolted scores of people awake because Twitter was like, Chrissy Teigen was awake, okay? Josh Mankiewicz from Dateline, wide awake. We had an exchange on Twitter.
Americana at brand memes. They were awake.
I was like wide awake. So it woke me up, and then Paul was like trying to fall back asleep like instantly. He was like, it's like it's not the big one or whatever.
Yeah, I've been in Los Angeles for a long time, baby.
Who's that guy?
Who
are you?
Grizzled.
Are you Hunter S. Thompson? Are you Bukowski? Who are you?
No, I'm a different guy.
You're just a different guy? You're that guy? You're a guy.
Maybe a Robert Evans.
Robert Evans.
Been here a long time. When the big one comes, it's going to come all the way, baby. And nobody's going to realize. Nobody's not going to know it's the big one.
I mean, well, okay. So it woke me up. And then like 10 minutes later, there was an aftershock quake.
Yeah.
And you were still awake for that.
Yes.
Because I was like,
yeah, I know.
And then I was like, okay, I'm wide awake for an hour, so I'm like tweeting with Josh Mankiewicz. Like,
Chrissy Teigen tried to worm her way into the replies. Everyone ignored her.
She was trying to slide into our Twitter, and then I finally fell asleep again.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 6:30 in the morning, another one rolled through.
There's a little guy, just like a signature.
It wasn't that much littler, though, than the first 4:30 a.m. one, because I looked up the scales.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was like 4.5, and then that one was like 4.3.
Ooh, those tough Russian judges.
Richter.
I slept through the last one then, I think.
Yeah, I think you slept through the last one, but then I was like, well, you got me. I'm up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up. And then I thought I was okay. So I come out in the house, and it's like, okay, I didn't sleep much because I was jolted out of bed by earthquakes, which are very unsettling. And I was like, I'm going to make myself a pot of coffee, and I'm going to get gather myself. So I put together a pot of coffee, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like waiting for it to brew, and it's quiet in the house. And then I go to pour the coffee in my cup, and I had brewed myself a pot of water. Like, I thought I was fine. I like had my cream. I'm the kind of person that I take milk in my coffee, and I put the cream in my coffee first. That's how I roll. So I don't know if you're the kind of person that puts the cream in your coffee first, and then you pour the coffee on top of the cream.
It's fun to do.
And then it's a blended.
You get to watch it swirl.
It's like a blended situation.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I don't like when you go to restaurants and they put down the mug and then they're going to make a big show out of pouring the coffee for you and everything. Because it messes up my system a little bit. But I politely go for it. What is going on with you over there? What is it? Do you know?
It was an alert from an app that I'd never heard before because I very rarely have my ringer on.
I bet it was that language app.
Duolingo. Did you want us? Did you want to learn something?
Anyway, I poured hot water in the milk.
Can I talk now? This is
Then
my
I made the
opportunity to
coffee.
say that day I woke up. Janie got out of bed well before I did. I woke up to I'm going to say a good 25 to 30 texts on some thread that we're both on, where you disclosed that you had brewed yourself a pot of hot water.
I brewed myself a pot of hot water.
And the timing was great because the last text was so long before that I was able to come in with, is there any hot water left?
I gave that one a ha-ha.
Thank you.
It was pretty good.
I mean, that's kind of what marriage is all about.
But I will say just the whole vibe of like earthquakes happening in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of fascism is like, like what else?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what next?
I know. There was that feeling too when that earthquake hit. It definitely crossed my mind. Like now this?
It's like
Well, anytime, like, even, like, something that jolts you awake in the middle of the night, you have to be thinking, is this the big one? Is it the big one? You know, like, when you live in L.A., you're always like, is the next
You're saying
big one?
including things that are not earthquakes? Anything that jolts you up in the middle, jolts you awake in the middle of the night. A loud magic trick.
What's the big one, Elizabeth? This is the big. Remember?
An ice cream truck crashing into your house.
Sanford and Son.
Yes, of course,
And
Fred
he's like,
Sanford. This is the big one, Elizabeth.
This is the big one, Elizabeth. I'm coming.
I'm coming to join
I'm
you.
coming to join
Yeah.
you. I like loved that show when I was a kid.
That's what he was talking about.
He was talking about 2020. He was talking about 2020. I love that show. Did you watch that show?
Of course I did. Yeah, absolutely.
What was his name? Red
Fox.
Red Fox.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like a dirty stand-up, right?
Yes.
He like, but then he got that sitcom, and he was Mr. Sanford.
He was Mr. Sanford.
But like but if I had, as a kid, had seen his stand-up, it would be pretty dirty.
Oh yeah, he did. I'm sure. I think he did. Like he had a cleaner act that he would do on TV and stuff. Like if you would go on Jack Parr
Carson
or whatever
or something.
Yeah, but there was a thing called party albums.
Yeah.
Which were like grown-ups would sit around and listen to these comedy albums that would be like filthy.
Really?
Yeah.
And they would what, like drink martinis and stuff?
Yeah. Oh, they'd all be completely hammered, listening to these filthy old jokes. Yeah.
That sounds kind of fun.
It does sound kind of fun.
I would do it.
It sounds like a ton of fun.
But like,
can you imagine right now in the situation we're in?
Yeah.
If we could just throw open our doors and have like 10 people over. We've never had a party here, by the way, even before quarantine.
That's not true.
We haven't had like a party.
Yes, when your show got canceled and you invited the writers' room.
That's not what I consider a real party. That was like, hey, our show got canceled. Everybody come over and let's
we'll
get
buy
drunk.
you pizza. Yeah.
Yeah.
We buy you pizza.
I'm talking about like a straight up party.
Well, our house isn't that big.
No, it's not, but we could do it. I'm saying, imagine if we had 10 friends over.
Okay.
We listened to like an old Red Fox album. Like if we got a record player, like a vinyl record player.
Yeah.
And just sat around.
We can't do it. We can't do it digitally.
We could do it. You could do it via
We
Zoom.
have our why? No, I mean, why do we have to get a vinyl? Why can't we listen
for
to
the
it?
experience, my dear?
That takes already.
Everyone has to wear formal clothes. You have to wear like coats and
They
ties
did not
and dresses.
do that before in the party albums parties.
In the party album days.
The party
the PADs.
What'd you call them? Party albums.
Party albums. Yeah.
Yeah. They were not in coat and tie and
Okay,
formal
so you wear
wear.
your golf shirt tucked into your slacks.
Slacks. Oh my God, slacks.
That would be great. We should make that an activity that we do.
Post COVID.
Yeah, when we get the all clear.
When's that gonna be?
I heard like in a couple weeks.
Really?
I heard this is all gonna blow over.
Oh, was it the doctor that Trump? You heard that from the doctor that Trump quoted this week?
Dr. Vinnie Bubats.
What was her name?
Vinnie Bubats?
That was not her name.
No, that was Rodney Dangerfield's doctor's name.
The one that both Trump and Madonna.
What? I don't know about that.
Oh, you missed that?
Yeah, I did miss that.
She posted it on her thing. Madge.
Come on, Madonna.
What's weird, though, is like...
We need you to be a leader in these times.
She is normally a little bit like, let's all like socially distance and blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, maybe she was hacked. And it's like, no, maybe Madge is out of touch.
Yeah. Maybe she's a crazy rich person.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that...
Madonna, if you're listening, we love you. Please come on the show.
I do love Madonna, though.
I know.
Like, Madonna was important to me.
I know.
And also, I like her music. I'm sorry.
There's nothing... That's not a bold claim.
It's not?
No! What are you talking about?
She's like the most popular recording artist, maybe, of our generation.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Bob Seger. All right.
Wait, Bob Seger sold more than Madonna?
No, of course not. All right. We got to wrap it up.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we do. thought this was going to go on forever.
I kind of did for 1 second. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, this is what we do now. We just like talk into this microphone.
Until death?
Yeah, maybe.
Somebody would come in here, 2 skeletons sitting in front of the microphones. All right. Do you have any recommendations?
Well, I recommended the Bureau. The Bureau.
We stay recommending the Bureau.
I recommend the Bureau. I recommend self-care. I recommend reaching out to us on our emails and Insta and Twitter.
And reach out to each other.
Also, yeah, check in with each other. Check in with sanity. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean.
Like, don't... Why do you say that? You say that and my mom says that.
What?
Because I have a vocal quirk. I get it.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you and my mom are like, I do know what you mean.
I think when it's...
Because you're like, shut the...
No, I'm emphatically agreeing. If I say that to you, that means I'm emphatically agreeing. Because usually when you say it, I say yes.
Okay.
Right? Isn't that true? Admit it!
So what you're saying is you always know what I mean?
You know what? Honestly, the times that you've said it, it's never been a thing where I didn't know what you mean.
Oh, I know what I'm supposed to recommend.
What?
It just came to me.
What's that?
I had the pleasure of being a guest.
Oh, yeah.
On Movie Crush podcast hosted by Chuck Bryant. Mm-hmm. And my movie crush is The Big Chill, and we talk about The Big Chill, and we had like an awesome conversation. Yeah. Like, it's a really good. I liked him, Chuck. We met through mutual friends and passing, and now we're like social media friends. Yeah. But we kind of clicked when we met.
Chuck's great.
Yeah,
he's great, and so Movie Crush is a great podcast.
Movie Crush, but with Chuck Bryant.
It is just a movie discussion podcast about movies that we like. He has a guest on every week. I did it a while ago.
It's positive.
It's positive, yeah, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
The conversations are really fun. I did Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid a couple years ago. So collect the whole set, guys.
It don't cost nothing.
It don't cost nothing.
I
want to recommend a podcast called, I don't think have I recommended Web Crawlers before?
I don't think so.
Web Crawlers is a podcast on the Erios Network. It is Ali Siegel and Melissa Stetton, and produced by Maria Blasucci. And it's a couple young women who are talking about conspiracy theories, cryptids, UFOs, like all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they have a great rapport. They're really fun. It's a really fun listen.
Cool.
Yeah.
Those are good recommendations.
There you go. Oh, also a plug.
Oh, you're Lauren. Yeah.
Lauren Lapkus and I will be doing our monthly show Monday, August 3rd. That's this coming Monday as this episode is released. 5 p.m. Pacific. Presented by Dynasty Typewriter. You watch it via a private YouTube link. Tickets are on sale now. You can go to paulftompkins.com/live.
And what are you guys calling your monthly show?
It's always Lapkus and Tompkins, and
Lapkus
then
and
a subtitle. So the first one was Lapkus and Tompkins Sing the Blues.
Uh-huh.
That was Lauren's title. And then this one is Lapkins and Tompkins versus the Cloud Goblin.
Okay.
Which is my title.
And people can go to your website, paulftompkins.com/live to access it.
Yes, you'll see the ticket link there. The shows are fun. It's just the two of us doing improv. It's a blast.
Okay, cool. And that's this Monday.
There you go.
All right, everyone.
Thank you for listening, as always.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you listening, and we love hearing from you. And we'll see you next week. And until then,
stay safe, stay sane, and stay home.